Hey guys, Sidnee Michelle here with Black Enterprise on another episode of Inside the Studio. I have the ultimate pleasure of sitting down with Mav Carter and Paul Rivera of The Shop, in The Shop. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Definitely.
Thank you for coming to the set of the show.
It's amazing. You guys will see more of it later. But we're here to talk about the business side of The Shop. So, Paul, I'm going to start with you. You said that you take the responsibility of empowerment very seriously. And if you gentlemen would agree, I feel like The Shop empowers so many people, both on and off the court, athletes, celebrities, so on and so forth. Was that the inspiration of starting The Shop?
Yeah, I think the inspiration for starting The Shop was honestly allowing people to be a part of the conversation that they're not thinking to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about empowerment. Empowerment is the DNA of our company, where not only The Shop, but the Spring Company and everything. I think for us, when we say empowerment, yes, it's the guests we have on the show that you see in the conversations, but it's also the stuff you don't see. It's behind the camera. Like you see our director, you see people, the camera, men and women, all look like us in the company where we come from. So when we say empowerment, we mean that entire thread right in front of the camera.
Definitely. Now, Matt, you said you really, what's important to you is athletes being able to be storytellers and telling their story as well. And as a former athlete myself and now turned storyteller, I feel like that's so important. And this show is really giving, athletes the opportunity to do that in addition to celebrities. Why is that so important to you?
Well, piggybacking on what PR said, the idea of bringing people together from all walks of life, all different genres, all different verticals, all different business is core to the real Shop as we grew up, right? Going in there and meeting all different types of people from the community. So then it becomes about community empowerment. Athletes are a big part of any community, specifically African Americans community, a big part of it. So having athletes in and sharing their thoughts and feelings and vibes of how they feel was a core, was the beginning principle to Uninterrupted was a brand. It was about athlete empowerment. So then when we started talking about and making The Shop, it was about how do we put an athlete next to an actor, next to a politician, next to an entrepreneur, next to lots of other people, and have those shared conversations and also those disagreements and really have it out in The Shop, as we all know the real Shop in our communities. But it's like that.
For sure. As the CMO and the CEO of Springhead, which is a brand that we love so much, tell us about the business side of it. We know that you guys wanted to empower all these people, but how did you make this shop profitable? Because, money matters. And tell me a little bit about that and why, that was kind of important to, like you said, put money in different type of people's pockets and have a crew that looks like us and really financially support, our community, both in front and behind the camera.
Yeah, I'll start. Trying to increase it. Mav always says brand leads and business follows.
Okay.
And I think The Shop is probably our best example of that, right? We've never created The Shop with the intent of having a hit show. We never created The Shop with the intent of having a maker. We want to create something that was special and authentic to us and our community. And we felt that if we nailed that piece of it, right? If we nailed having an authentic conversation with people from all communities, but especially the communities we come from, could see something that felt authentic to them, the money will follow us.
No, you nailed it. Just build something that matters, that needs to exist, right? Because there's lots of things in the world. We live in America where it's consumerism and building new brands is like a thing. But you always have to say, why should this exist? Why should we exist as a company? We have a very specific mission of Spring Company and Uninterrupted. Then Shop, why do we need this show? Why should it exist? And then from there, really build something that matters. And then you figure out what the business is to keep the lights on, to keep people working on the show. But it really needs to have a purpose and a sense of existence. And The Shop, a version of that is community.
Definitely. And Matt, you talked about, purpose and things like that. I feel like with The Shop, it went from HBO, which is now, and is now on YouTube. And I don't know, something about YouTube just kind of gives me that just on the hands and like on the ground. It's not a corporation like HBO is. And I kind of love that switch. But can you tell us, what was the driving factor behind that?
No, I'm laughing because actually YouTube's owned by Google, which is one of the biggest. But it's
right.
what you think that power,
yes.
feels more kind of handmade, handcrafted, not made with all the shininess of what HBO did. Now, HBO was a fantastic partner and really helped us launch it. But the biggest part of it for us was YouTube, click of a button, the show became international. Is we would travel around the world, and people in English-speaking countries like the UK and other places, but also in France that not would ask, and they would see clips on social and thought they'd seen the show, but knew they wanted more. And YouTube gives you that ability. That's the thing that distribution is. The minute you put a video, it's by way of it being on YouTube, it is in every territory that they're in. And I can't think of one country they're not in. So it becomes international business.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that. I think for us, we're relentlessly trying to get closer to our consumer. And being on YouTube allows us through the comments to be able to see what is it they want to see more or less of, right? If that's, we hear longer episodes, or how about this or this? Sometimes we'll see artists we've never even heard of and look into things like that. So we love the two-way conversation YouTube has allowed us to have. It's just helping us get closer to that.
Definitely. Paul, you talked about getting close to the consumer. I think what we love the most about Spring Out, about Uninterrupted, and definitely about the shop is you guys are creating content that's so relatable to, this generation and this generation adjacent, so the ones before, the ones that come after. Tell me a little bit just about the content that you guys are really driving to produce, because I feel like it's so successful because it's so new. We have a bunch of media companies that are here are kind of following, the algorithm or the thing to do that's most profitable. But the content you guys are putting out is most relatable, and I love it.
Thank you so much. I think it's that way because the ethos of our company is about, as PR explained earlier, about making content that's empowering, but also people who actually make it and craft it have to have using our company as a platform to empower. So then the content will start to look and feel of the people of the generation, because we are that, and the people and the creators that we're fortunate enough to work with are of this generation, the ones slightly before, like myself and the older, or the ones that are coming after us. So that's very important to us. And it's important, honestly, that we like it too, as we're making and working with creators, that we actually like it works for us too. So it starts to look and feel like the stories that we know, just like the shop, right? Like we sit here and have the conversation. The shop is from the place when Randy and PR came with the idea of that's how we grew up in the barbershop, having those conversations and ripping the scab and the band-aid on things and having those conversations. So it starts to look, people watch the shop, they go, yeah, that's just like my barbershop in Philly or DC or Akron or Alabama, wherever they're from, they can start to get a feel for oh, that's what my place is.
Yeah, I would just echo Mav's thoughts. I think if you spend any time on our company, what our offices represent a reflection of our community. There's younger people, there's men, women. I believe we're 51% women. There's black, white, straight, gay, purple hair, gray hair, no hair. Right? And I think that's a reflection of the content you see. Right? We're not, to your earlier point, not trying to tap into the algorithm or say it isn't hot, let's go chase this thing. We make content that reflects our environment and the worlds we come from and the stories we want to tell. And just as importantly, tell them the people we want to tell them. And I think that actually is our superpower. It makes the content special.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Just to wrap, we want to hear about you guys' favorite memories so far. I'm sure there's so many that you guys have had, literally everyone on the show. If you had to pick one special moment and why, what was your favorite?
Mine is far away, Drew Barrymore. I was so there's always a moment on the show where the ice breaks and things just come rushing out. It's usually somebody in the room says something. It's oh, whoa, we're going there? Okay. And everybody goes. And that episode with Idris and her, I agree, was one of those deep episodes. And then she just went there and we were all crying. She really, it was my first time meeting her, so that's the one that always comes to mind.
There was a special moment.
For the record, I was crying. It was hot.
Just a little coming out your eyes.
For me, someone asked me this question recently. My answer to me is always a little funny because it's an episode I wasn't on. I joke. That says a lot what I am. Sure. But it's the episode President Obama was with Maverick and LeBron. And look, anytime you can get the president, right? It's incredible. But for me, it was more so what it signified that we had built something that mattered to Mom's earlier point, it mattered. And if you think about the state of where our world was at that time, right, in COVID, and the challenges of that, you know, probably can't. You wouldn't realize it as we're filming. We filmed in 3 different locations. Right? So if I have some one place, Bronson one place, President Obama was another place. And it just was a moment for me. It was like, oh, we built something that's special, something that matters, and something that can make a difference.
Yeah.
And again, if you bring it full circle to the empowerment game, our mission, you know, then the needle that we thread to everything we do was a proud moment. But also just realized that we have a lot more stories to tell. And again, after it, that's why we're excited for season 6.
Yes. Come on, season 6. I'm very excited for that. Thank you guys for your time today. Hopefully we'll have you on Black Enterprise very, very soon.
Absolutely.
But this was an awesome conversation, and I can't wait to see what season 6 holds.
Thank you so
And
much.
hopefully we'll come back.
Thank you.
Come back to the shop.
Absolutely. You're always welcome.
All right, guys, that's a wrap on another episode of Inside the Studio. I'm Sidnee Michelle, and until next time.